Right, hi everyone. Right, this time hedge renovation. What we've got here, Laurel Hedge, nice and tidy, just about to trim it. But normally what you'd do is you'd go down the face, tidy off all the loose fluffy stuff that's grown this year, and then you're fine. However, this is on a boundary line to the public highway, and although the rule isn't generally enforced, councils actually want you to keep any hedgerow actually behind your boundary line. So if we look down here, boundary line is there. As you can see, it's overhanging quite a way. So what we're actually going to do, we're going to cut right back to behind the boundary line. Now when you do this, when you're renovating, you actually cut back a little bit further inside, come back another inch or so that as it fills out with a new leaf, it actually fills back out to your boundary line. And then you can do your little tidy each year. Well, with Laurel you probably want to do it twice a year, just to keep it tidy once it's back. So I'll get this done, then I'll show you what it looks like. Now it's quite scary for some people to do this, because what you'll end up with is this completely empty hedge. We had a job about a month ago, and we were renovating hedges anything up to about 20 foot high, and it took us 8 hours a day for 4.5 days to actually get through it all, and actually blunted the blades on my hedge trimmer, so I had to get them sharpened up. So they're nice and sharp to do this one, so it shouldn't take too long. Renovating this, probably, I don't know, about an hour to get through the face at the front. Top just needs to be tidied, and then just a light trim on the back. So looking at about 2 hours total for this bit to actually cut it all back and then tidy up. Just a little bit on the other side as well. Same to do out in the back garden. So overall probably 5 hours to renovate, bag it all up. One bulk bag should actually cover it all. Alright, see you in a while. Right, okay, it's warm. I'll go in. Right, so we've got the first part done. Now, a couple of tips when you start doing this, always check, see whether or not there's any cables. Last thing you want to be doing is going straight through those. I know on the other side they're covered in plastic, but my hedge trimmer will go straight through these things. So you just got to be careful when you do it. Now, if you look along the line, it might be difficult to see on the camera. In a couple of places, like here, it's actually come back in further than the rest of it. Now, it's actually cut the same straight line. What can tend to happen is where you've got very, very heavy leaf in some areas, as you cut it, it actually bounces back in. So what you can actually do is allow for your line when you're cutting. But that'll be the result you get. This should start to bud back up again within 6 months. Should start to get some buds this year. If the wet and the sun keep going, then that should start coming back. Should be in full leaf again by middle of next summer. So it looks horrible to begin with, but it'll love you for it. Now, where you got the renovation, instead of doing a whole length, you can do it in certain parts. Now, for some reason, that part of the hedge up there seems to have grown a lot more than the rest of it. This I've hardly taken anything off, so only a few bits trimmed lightly, and what I'm doing is trying to create a straight line right the way through. So I'll finish this bit off, and then hopefully it'll be a straight line, and you can see what it looks like, and that's just the other side. Right, see you in a minute. Right, now as you can see, we've got the straight line. If you go over just a little bit more, we've now got a straight line, so it's now, if you lift the camera up and go along the length, you see we've now got an equal width all the way along. So, because all the extra growth along here has happened this year, where we've actually renovated back inside, yes, there's a small hole, but most of it's actually still leafed up, so we're good. So now starting on the top, come over here. Now hopefully on the camera you can see, it's quite a flat top. Yes, it's not looking too bad. So, one mistake that people make when they're trying to actually do a flat top, when they're holding their hedge trimmer, probably not this size, they lock it onto their body and then walk along with it, thinking that'll give them a straight line. Unfortunately, ground is always uneven, so what you'll end up with is a nice wavy pattern, which doesn't look quite so good. So when you've done a little bit, stand back, have a look at it. If you see any bumps in it or see any dips in it, then you can go back, trim the next bit, come back and have a look again. If you keep checking what you've done, when you go back to do the rest of it, you should be fine. Alright? Always carry a pair of these, especially with something like Laurel, because it's so bulky. When you cut it off and it drops down, you always miss a few bits at the bottom. always a bit of fluff. So you snip those off, and it just ties at the bottom line. And when you're renovating, if you need to do both sides, only do one side on one season. You stress the plant too much if you do both sides at the same time. A couple of exceptions, you've got yew and privet, you can actually hack back on both sides and they'll be fine. But once you've renovated one side, what it allows you to do is get in there and get all the rubbish out. You're amazed what you can find. You do find hypodermics once in a while. Make sure you've got some decent gloves on before you get rid of them. Double bag them, and you can usually get rid of them with a tip, but if you can put them in your normal waste, make sure they're bagged up really well. But if you look really hard, you can find some really cool stuff. First time I found one of those in a hedge. Right, when we're finished we'll show you the top and we'll be back in a little while. Right, so we're done. Top's and tailed, top's all nice and flat. Hopefully that's all been of use to you. If it was any use to you, give me a like. And if you've got any comments, leave comments at the end. Any questions, leave those in the comments as well. And we'll see you again for the next time, which I'm not sure what it's going to be yet, but we're looking at doing, probably get one on Japanese knotweed quite soon. Alright, cool, see you soon.